Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about something really quick that's been on my mind so much lately. And as I've said, I've probably said this before, but I have a Cancer fetish. I love Cancer, the sign, men, women, especially women, I'm not going to lie, because unfortunately men oftentimes don't know how to handle their Cancer energy, especially in a world with, gender roles and all that stuff, right? But I love Cancer energy. So something that always comes up and people complain about is the fact that Cancers can't forget and Cancers hold on to things. And I always think of 50 Cent, he's one of my favorite Cancer men, but Cancers can't forget. And so I want to talk about this. Why is it that Cancers can't forget? So Cancer is ruled by the moon. The moon is the archetype that represents the mother. And by extension, Cancer also represents our lineage, our genealogy, our family tree, our heritage, right? So by association also, Cancer rules folklore, things that really tie us to our roots, to our country, to our tribes, essentially. So Cancer represents all of the knowledge that is old, like old wisdom, old wives' tales, things like that, that get called like superstition, anything like that. Cancer is associated with those things because Cancer ruled, the motherland, the homeland, the hearth, where everybody comes from, essentially. It's kind of like, I love biology too, so it's kind of like Cancer rules the cell, the whole of life. And in order to protect and preserve life, Cancer has developed a very strong intuition, because all intuition really is being able to access patterns, right? That's what intuition is. It's a very strong pattern recognition. And the reason why Cancers are so intuitive is because they can access usually it's emotional things that remind them of situations in the past that have harmed them, that have hurt them for whatever reason. And even though in this day and age, somebody hurting your feelings or disrespecting you, even though today, like, people just talk shit and they're not really gonna smack you, but back in the day, if somebody was being untowards to you, if somebody was being aggressive, if somebody was being mean or demeaning to you or challenging you in some way, back in the day when we had tribes, that means that person's trying to fight. That person's trying to hurt you. That person's trying to hurt you or your family, and you were gonna need to defend yourself, right? So it's kind of like Cancers are, equipped. They're just like, we're ready for battle. And it's just that now somebody being disrespectful, it's not such a huge deal. It still hurts. It really, it makes us uncomfortable, especially if we have Cancer energy, but it's not really going to amount to anything. But what I want you to know is, where is this coming from? Where is this attention to disrespect that Cancer has, or anything that is a little bit sharp? Cancer is the first one to be like, that person's a dick. That person is being disrespectful, it's not even a respect thing. For Cancer, it's not a respect. It's like somebody who's trying to hurt you. And why? Why is it that, it is associated with disrespect too, right? But any sort of harshness or meanness or any tone, Cancer's just like, I see that. Why are you doing that? And it's because, their system is primed to protect, because as I said, they're accessing ancestral knowledge that they have within themselves. And I don't know if I read this somewhere or if I freaking came up with this, I don't know. But whether you believe in past lives or anything like that, I really feel like cells have memory, like they remember. So you have a people or a group of people who have suffered through traumatic events, even if they didn't know, like if we erased all of history, I feel like their cells would remember that. And because of that, they would have this intuition. That's why I feel that certain cultures I associate more with Cancer, because they're more defensive. Why? Because they freaking remember the fact that their people, their ancestors, their homeland has been abused or hurt in the past. And they're kind of like, that's not going to happen again. And that's that memory. We call it intuition, but really it is a pattern recognition. They recognize things very quickly in order to protect from that sort of attack in the future. So that's like a macro scale, but on a regular day-to-day scale, what does that mean for you as a Cancer? What that means is that, yes, you have this very innate ability, this ingrained ability to protect yourself and make sure that you surround yourself with people who put you as number one. Because And really, that's what you're looking for. Cancer is looking for somebody to be number one, two, and with. Like, they're looking for a partner, somebody to be with that is going to put them first, and they're going to put that person first too. If you want somebody who's loyal and devoted to you, a Cancer person is very much devoted and loyal to the person that they love, because to them it's just like, this is my family. Like, I will die without this person, because that is how strongly they feel when they find a partner. It's like they're grasping on for life, because back then, you know, remember, always connect Cancer to back then, back when we had tribes, back when we were in caves or whatever, because that is what Cancer is drawing their information and knowledge from. They're drawing from ancestral knowledge and things that have to do, as I said, you know, with your motherland, with your heritage, with your lineage, because that is what Cancer represents. So Cancer people with also the moon, or people with fourth house emphasized, those are sort of related. So those people have those memories like right here, like they can access them very easily. People who don't have a very strong moon or don't have Cancer in their chart, they're not going to relate to their ancestors as strongly. They're not going to feel as connected to that energy that comes from the past. So their intuition is not going to be as strong, because they're not connected to that. They're not, or maybe their intuition is going to be different. They're going to be connecting to knowledge that is a very here based, like things that I see here, and not so much connected with things that my ancestors have lived through or people in my family have lived through, right? Because as I said, you know, Cancer is connected to the family, the ancestors, everything that has to do with that. So it's sort of a double-edged sword, having that very strong and able and ready, you know, at your disposal intuition and ability to be like, that person has the potential to hurt me, or all of that, because that's what Cancer is looking for. But can it make us a bit paranoid? Yes, because we're always looking for it sometimes. We're always trying to see where it is that we have to protect ourselves. So it can make people be like, oh, you never forget a slight. You always bring up the past. And it's just like, well, yeah, because I don't want this to happen to me again. So I remember when you did that shitty thing to me. So it can be hard, honestly, it can be hard to have a lot of Cancer energy, because it's hard to forget. It's hard to forget the slights from the past, because you don't want them to be repeated. So I just wanted to explain where that comes from, and I find it completely fascinating. I also associate Cancer with like folk tales, like those children's tales that we told to kids in order to protect them. I also associate that a lot with Cancer, because, you know, the mother archetype, and mothers read to their children and tell them these folkloric tales that really instill your culture and your, you know, maternal sort of lineage into you, right? It's usually the maternal or the paternal, it doesn't really matter, but really that instruction, that motherly instruction, comes from the sign of Cancer, and those stories instill within us, you know, things that we should be afraid of, things that should, cautionary tales, all of those things are very Cancer-y to me, because I associate it with that. Yes, there's Saturn, and that's the father, but that's for another video. It's gonna be, you know, they're not in the present. Oftentimes Cancers are living in the past, and they're making sure that that doesn't happen again. That's why also Cancer is associated with being nostalgic, that feeling of, oh, the past and how things were, and oh, my family, and oh, childhood. Cancer is very much tied to that. And again, that's because they are connected to that mother archetype, to that motherland, to childhood. Everything that has to do with mothers and children is, you know, very much on the forefront of the mind of a Cancer person. So that is why they can't forget. So if you like this video, it was simple. I just spoke from the heart. If you like this kind of video, let me know in the comment if you have any topics that you would like for me to just talk about, because, you know, sometimes I read the comments and I will just read a comment and I'll be like, I'm gonna make a video on that right now, because I have like my schedule, like my regularly scheduled programming, and those videos take way more time to like prepare and to think about, and to I researched it, you know. I don't just like come on here and talk crap to you. So this one I didn't research because I already know this, but from reading, right, and from experiencing this. But if you have any just like general topics that you'd like for me to talk about, shoot, you know, put it in the comments, and I do read all of my comments, and a lot of times they help me to come up with new and fresh ideas. So thank you so much for the person who was just like, how come Cancers never forget? I don't know if I'll find the comment. I'll try to find it and I'll put the person up here. But if it wasn't you and you have a great idea, let me know in the comments.